Hi, well, welcome to Restorative Yoga. We're going to start off seated on a bolster or other prop, so just prop yourself up. If it's comfortable, cross the legs. If not, no worries, but we do want to let the knees drop below the hips so we can find that natural curve to the spine. Good, and then just roll the shoulders up and around a few times, getting settled into your shape. And then snug the shoulder blades against your back, growing tall through the spine. Allow the eyes to close when you feel ready. Take a moment to check in. We can do this anytime throughout the day, but the evening time is particularly special because it's the end of the day. A time to put an end not just to the day, but to the energies of the day, to the thoughts of the day, to a symbol really of an ending so that we can start anew, afresh. We'll start to draw in a longer in breath. And then with your out breath, let it out of your mouth with a sigh. And do that again a few more times. Inhale long through the nose. Fill up and then exhale. Let it all out. And again, one more breath in through the nose. Open mouth, sighing breath out. Beautiful start. Now bring your right hand to your nose for alternate nostril breath and close the right nostril with your nose. Exhale through the left side. Inhale, left nostril. At the top of your in-breath, hold for just a pause and then exhale out the other side, the right side. Inhale, right side. Hold for a pause. Exhale, left side. Now pause at the bottom of your out breath just a little bit longer. And then inhale. Always at the top of your in-breath, you're switching. Exhale, other side. And then continue. Few more rounds of breath. Of Nadi Shodhana, a way to balance our energies. And a perfect precursor to meditation. And both palms to your lap. Breathe in and out through both nostrils, slow and steady. And then gently, without opening the eyes, just drop ear to shoulder. Get a stretch through the side of the neck. Keep breathing slow and steady as you nod yes. Mentally and energetically saying yes to self-care. Self-care is not selfish. It is necessary. Draw chin to chest, ear to the other side, and again, nod yes and say yes to this next hour for self-care and self-love, shedding and creating an end to one day so we can rest peacefully in preparation for the next. Good. Come through the center. Interlace the hands at the base of your lap and then inhale, fill up. Exhale, round as you push away. And if you need to blink open, feel free to do so. Inhale, stretch the arms up. And then exhale, cactus the arms. And then round again, interlacing the hands, fill up. Exhale, round. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, release just one hand down to the floor. Doesn't matter which one. The other hand comes into a side stretch. We can keep the top arm extended or bend the elbow. Let it drape over the head, and then maybe lean back or lean forward. Just notice how that feels. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, lean forward. And then take it to the other side. Hand down to the earth, the other arm comes up. Nice big side stretch. And then make it restorative. Make it a little more indulgent. Lean back, open. Come forward a little bit. Just notice how just a little shift in one direction or the other direction can really make a big difference. Cartwheel the arms and come into a gentle twist and look behind you, stretching through your neck. Cartwheel over to the other side. And then notice which leg you have on top. We're going to bring the knees in and switch the cross. Bring the hands to the knees and we're going to round through the back again. Exhale. Inhale, pull through. And then exhale, we're going to come through a circle. Loosening up now, not just the upper body, but the lower body too. And come through this center again. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself some self-love, truly self-love. Look inward and actually say the words, I love you. And then take the knees apart and the feet together, like that. And we're going to give ourselves a little bit of a foot massage here. Starting at the arches of the feet, just massage up to the toes. The feet are one of those parts of our body we sometimes neglect, and yet they do so much for us. When you get to the space between the heel and the ankle, there's a pressure point there. I just want you to press there, lean in a little bit. Close the eyes and take a few rounds of deep breaths. This targets the liver meridian line, which is the meridian line for detoxification. In some regards, this practice is a practice of detoxifying the day. Letting the stresses of the day subside for that good night's sleep. Beautiful. Start to palm press the inner leg, a little abhyanga or massage, until you get to the knees. Circle at the knees, little somatic movement, and then take a one forearm and just roll the inner leg. A little massage here, a little myofascial, self-myofascial release. And of course, we do both sides. Yes. Let's bring the legs together and then take that bolster that you're sitting on. You're going to hop off and move the bolster in front of you. Come back to that diamond shape and then maybe grab a block or two. to create this kind of shape. Mhm. So prop up as much as you need to. There might be a blanket involved, whatever works. If you don't have a bolster, or if you need more height, a good old couch cushion can do. And then we'll hinge mostly at the hips. So what that looks like, or what we want to avoid on the side angle here, is we want to avoid this. Instead, hinge more at the hips and then hug the bolster like this. Ah, this feels nice and safe. And that's what we're going for. It's the our bodies physiologically are respond to stress just like our ancestors did with fight or flight. Our current stressors, though, aren't anything that chases us or fights us. Our current stressors, well, some might say are ourselves, but it could be work, it could be family, it could be thoughts of, that's what I mean by ourselves, thoughts of the past, thoughts of the future. So let this be an opportunity to just kind of sink in, maybe to a mild stretch, but mostly it's an opportunity to sink into safety, to sink into that feeling that it's okay. We're going to hold this pose long enough to relax into the pose. And that's what restorative yoga really is an opportunity to linger in a pose long enough to observe the thoughts of the mind, to observe the tension in the body, and to give all of it an opportunity to sink in and to kind of melt away. So one way to do that is with a body scan, just observing what's going on physically. And if you need to adjust in any way, do so. I'm realizing I think I want to adjust my ankles here. At some point, you may turn your head in the other direction. So this is really about no effort. Just sinking in, getting comfy, use as many props as you can. Ah, just right. I think I got it now for me. And then once the body is settled, might observe the thoughts of the mind. Studies show we have anywhere from 70, 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. It's a lot of thinking, a lot of thoughts. And just like a monkey jumping from one tree to another or a puppy without a leash, the mind goes everywhere. And this is an opportunity to kind of reel it in or to just observe what are the thoughts that serve me and what are the thoughts that don't. Because the mind untethered cannot be trusted. It's influenced by what we see, what we hear, what we feel, and creates perceptions, beliefs. Where the ancient timeless practices of yoga come in, because that's what it's all about, is channeling and harnessing the mind. So over these next few moments, I'll leave you in silence to just observe. And through that observation, we bring awareness, shining the light of awareness. And you might discover patterns, or again, thoughts that serve and thoughts that don't. And that self behind all those thoughts, that witness self, is your higher self. That's the self that can discriminate which thoughts serve, which thoughts don't. Gentle movement coming up off of the bolster. And then we're going to place the bolster behind us. Have your block and your blanket handy too. Sure. There we go. And we'll just stretch out the legs and rotate them in and out. Rotate at the ankles, point and flex the feet. And then we'll bend the knees with the feet wide apart. Drop your knees to the right and then drop your knees to the left. Let's drop the knees either way, one side or the other, and then take the opposite hand and reach it back till we get a little stretch through the midsection. And then circle it back around to do the other side, stretch back. One more time, we'll go in this direction, but this time we're going to find our ankle and then bring the heel towards the seat for just a little stretch. Now remember, we've got this bolster back here. So we're getting a good little quad stretch here. We're going to release that and then bring the bolster right up to your hip. And then we'll circle around, rotating at the rib cage. Every inhale, we lengthen. Every exhale, melt down. Now, a few options here. You could put a block underneath, like this. That's kind of nice. Or a blanket. And this is Simon. So your head can rotate in the direction of the twist if that feels comfortable for your neck. Otherwise, keep it this way, right? Otherwise it goes like this. And then I'm going to time this side so that we have an equal amount on both sides. And then same thing, once we settle in, see if you can surrender a little bit more with every exhale. Scan your body for any obvious places of tension or tightness. And physically see if you can melt. We hold tension throughout the day, with whatever we're doing. And this is an opportunity to let all of it go. Every exhale, let it be releasing. Letting go of all the tension from the body as well as the mind. And then watch how the emotions follow. And sink in a little bit more. And melt just a little bit more. What's holding you back? Do you need permission? If you do, give yourself permission. Make your way up by really feeling the earth underneath you. These are grounding postures. So if you came in feeling really stressed or anxious, all of this grounding can really bring that energy down. Way around back to where you were with the bolster behind you, and we'll just drop the knees. Again, maybe doing a few maybe windshield wipers if you wish. And then go to the other side. That twist. And then find your ankle for a good quad stretch. You know what's coming next. Once you release, we'll fold over the bolster in the other direction. And I invite you to come down slowly. With each breath, inhale. Every exhale, we melt a little bit more, and then you keep going. Oh, so you can just sink in. And then starts the process. So sometimes there's tension around the shoulders if we're gripping like this. So see if you can kind of melt those shoulders down. Check in with your jaw. Sometimes there's tension being held in the jaw. The mind needs direction beyond what we're able to find through breath awareness. You can try the use of an affirmation. One of my favorites in these twisting or sideline postures is through life's twists and turns like that. You can repeat that to yourself or some variation of that. Level up when you can. Rotate back. No rush. And then we're perfectly situated for Supta Baddha Konasana. The soles of the feet come together and we roll back on the bolster. Maybe a blanket under the head. Maybe an eye pillow. Now, if your knees are up like so, grab a couple of extra props to give the knees some support, like that. That feels pretty nice. And we're going to open up and roll the shoulders back enough to stretch through the pectorals. And you can outstretch the arms this way. Now we're taking the breath like waves through the front of the body. Let's move the jaw around. Maybe even make some facial shapes. And surrender. Use the image of Ganesha. Ganesha is the image of an elephant with big ears and a big belly and small eyes. You bring that image to mind. What it represents are the large ears is for active listening. The small eyes is to look inward more than outward. And the belly is to be able to digest. We digest more than just food. We digest our day, our interactions, what we've read, what we've watched, whatever work we may have done. All needs to get digested, like the image of Ganesha's big belly. So breathe, maybe holding on to this image in mind and what it represents. Large ears for hearing. Can you listen maybe to your own inner workings, your own voice as you look inward with small eyes? And the belly to digest. The process. Suppose that you can stay in for really as long as you like. If you feel comfortable, feel free to stay in it a bit longer. If you feel called to move, then move that bolster under the knees. And maybe a blanket under the head for Shavasana or mountain book pose. Alternatively, one of my favorite poses to do before bed is to bring that bolster under the hips and then send the legs straight up towards the ceiling. Now, if you're near a wall, it's quite nice to have the legs supported against a wall so you're not actively holding them up. But that's just up to you, your choice. And this is another pose that can be held for pretty long periods of time. An opportunity to invert the body, to reverse the flow of blood, lymphatic fluids, as well as energy, bringing back energy from the legs back down to the heart. And then if you feel ready, bring the feet down. Just scoot the bolster down under the knees. We prepare now for Shavasana, final relaxation. So if there's anything your body's calling for, please feel free to take it. A few of my favorites for Shavasana is to place a blanket over the belly, an eye pillow over the eyes, Move the jaw around, give everything a shake, and then a surrender. Asana actually stands for corpse pose. So it really is a practice of dying, of the ultimate letting go. So in essence, we practice dying every time we practice Shavasana. And while that may seem morbid at first glance, it is an ending. And it is something none of us are immune to. We don't know when that ending is. So by practicing surrender, physically, mentally, emotionally, all the layers to the being, we start to get to what's left. And that's what's left can only be experienced. What is left when you peel away the layers to your being? And your job right now is to just peel the layers, peel them away. You can stay again as you are, or slowly make your way to a comfortable seat again. Notice how you feel now, physically, mentally, emotionally. Place one hand at the heart and say thank you for this time well spent to down regulate the body, prepare the mind for that good night's sleep. We'll bring our hands together at the heart in gratitude for this day, We say thank you, placing an end to this day and welcoming the transition from this day to tomorrow. And set your intention to rest. It's in rest that our cells rejuvenate, that our body heals. So we can start anew and afresh. Namaste.